Let's do
You
it.
are watching a master at work.
Yeah.
What is up, my lovely people? Thank you guys for tuning in today. Oh my goodness. Lights! We have James Wade. I am James Wade in the building. It is such an honor. I wanted to give the Club Shay Shay intros, but that's kind of not really my thing. I think I just start off with love. James, before we get into this interview, it is such an honor to have you here today. Honestly, this conversation is long overdue.
Amen.
And this is something that I've just wanted to tell you forever. Not only are you just an amazing artist that I'm honored to be in the presence of, but you have been an amazing friend and supporter. You have no idea. There has been days where you've sent me support and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to eat today. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And just having people in lights like you in this world is truly a blessing. You are not just talented in music, but you are truly a light in this world. And it is such a freaking pleasure to have you here today, buddy. I know that was a lot. And we were all
No,
over
I
the
love
place.
it. Hey,
But
hey.
how are you, James Wade?
I'm extremely blessed. And first of all, I want to say how I'm humbled by the flowers. I hold you in such a high esteem. I really love you. I think you're amazing. I've told you that. I'll always be a cheerleader for you. So I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And just to hear that from you, that I make a difference in your life like that,
Dude,
that's extremely
huge
humbling.
difference. There's been days where I'm just like, I just want to give up. And then that light comes in and we're going to get into, I know you've talked about the light on multiple platforms, but hey, whatever. This is a new platform.
Absolutely.
And we'll start here. James, you have always been such a mystery for me, from opening to like Mac Miller. You told me about going to camp with like MGK and Nappy Roots. Like, how did you go from recording in your college dorm to opening for huge artists and building yourself into James Wade? Like, what is your
Yeah.
story? Like,
I appreciate that. Now that I'm older, I wish I could say it was me, but it was never me. I genuinely, there were always people along the way who encouraged me when I didn't have the drive, because I didn't have the drive when I was younger. I can honestly say that. Like, I was extremely popular, so whatever I did got attention, and I was trying to find a way to like leverage that. I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? I knew I was going to school for marketing at the time. I played sports, so I was competitive, and I knew I had a business sense, and I knew I had a brand early, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I was in a communication frat, and the guys were coming to my room to pick me up to take me to wherever the party was, the older guys. And I was playing demos that I would make every summer when I would go back home. So I had been doing that like freshman year, sophomore year. So I'm playing it in my room, and like I'm getting dressed and everything, and they're like, yo, who the hell is that? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. And they're like,
no big deal. It's just me
yeah.
going crazy. No big deal.
Yeah, and they're like, nah, bro. And they were like that. They were like, nah, bro, you not finna just take this lightly. Like, you
Yeah.
cold. So they immediately grabbed me and made me come to the frat house. And there was like probably like 50 people there. And they was like, yo, everybody stop. He fire. Yo, will you do something for us? And I'm like,
That's
what the fuck is
fire.
going on?
Yeah.
So I literally, what they started doing was they started booking me at venues. I started selling out venues before I ever had a song, an official song out.
Dude, okay, so this brings me here because I've seen you like perform for like Spring Bling, excuse me. Like, how does it feel going from like this big audience, right? Like, you are James Wade, huge on the Midwest, and then it's like you kind of restart here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
What
I love that.
chose you to do that?
I love that my mentor did. I was actually in.
What made you choose? Sorry, I said that crazy. What made you choose to do that?
My mentor actually did. We was actually we were at some event that I was asked to come, and they paid me a couple hundred to be in the building and all that kind of stuff. Hey, James Wade's in the building. I was already at the point where anywhere I went, everybody knows me. People say my name. Like, any building I go to, it's lights on, like all that kind of stuff. So we sitting there, got the table, got a lot of ladies around us. He just looking at me. I'm doing my thing. I'm kicking it. He's like, so this is it? And I'm like, what you talking about, bro? We kicking it. What you
Like, I
talking
made
about?
it, bud. What's
Yeah.
up?
And he's like, you could do this anywhere. He's like, go do it somewhere else. And I knew that was God.
That's
Like
crazy.
I just know, like I'm really in tune. So I understand when I'm hearing his voice through other people. And I'm
Ooh,
like,
that's
bro,
good.
you feel me? Cause that's been the biggest thing that I've noticed as a pattern in my life is when
Mm.
I've been extremely receptive, the most beautiful things have happened. Like I
Mm.
remember calling my mom and being like, yo, I can't go through this no more. Like I'm making six figures in Alabama, hating my life. And she goes, very conservative woman. Don't even like tattoos, piercings, nothing like that conservative. She goes, you should move to Vegas then.
Oh,
Out of nowhere. We've never talked about Vegas. Heard
wow.
she heard me because I come out maybe 3 or 4 years earlier and I had a show. Somebody in Ohio booked me in California, and then the next night I came out in Vegas and did a show.
So why Vegas? Like, what do you feel like? What do you think made her say Vegas? What was it about here that was like, that's the next challenge that I need?
I knew when I left here I loved it. Like
Okay.
I have spent a full week out in Cali. Like they had taken me everywhere. And then when I came to Vegas, I was in Vegas like 2 nights and I was like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Like this is the energy I like. You know what I mean? And so I had talked about it and I was like, oh, maybe I'll move to Houston first and then I'll move to Vegas. And
Yeah.
I woke up one day and I had spent 3 years in Alabama, hadn't released a new song, got caught up in making money and not focusing on the grind.
Mm.
And so when I moved out here and that energy came back, and then it was like people like you that like found me and was like, yo, where's he coming from? It gave
Yeah.
me the confidence and the energy to be like, I need to get back in the game.
Yeah, I remember I saw you at Bunkhouse. It was Mikey Picasso's show.
Yep.
It was a first live event for me. I think was that his first one?
Yes.
And I saw you in sound check,
Mm-hmm.
and me and my friend that had came with me, she was like, "Bro, he's going crazy." I'm like, "Who you talking about?" So then I tune in and like you just shut it down, and then I go back and I see your story and I do my research, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this dude's like pretty much a star elsewhere. So let me ask you this: how do you not get lost in that artist ego of you've been big, you've done the big things
Yeah.
already? So coming here, it's kind of like humbling because now you
Yeah.
start over.
Oh,
How do you deal with
absolutely.
that?
I think when I was younger, it would have bothered me more.
Mm.
But I think where I am in my life as a human being, I always learn like you want to do things that make you feel like a rookie. Like you want to go through
Mm.
things that make you extremely uncomfortable. And I remember there was a platform that's been familiar with me since I was in Illinois, like doing demos, who was like, yeah, you were too big of a star for you to like really focus on your craft because you knew anything you did got attention. And they're
Mm. Oh
telling me
wow.
this, and
Okay.
I'm like, they're right. Like my ego was too big. My like everything I was comfortable. I had everything I wanted. Anywhere I went, I had social leverage everywhere.
Yeah.
And I knew that. And I could have just sat on that. And I just thought, one, I love to move around. I never been out to the West. I love the energy that's out there. I want to go out there. And I want to see that challenge. And I think the thing that doesn't like I've never been one of those people. I remember performing with MGK at a sold out show in Cleveland, standing
Mm.
room only, and then going to Phoenix with him and there being like 57 people in the audience. And
Wow.
so what I realized a couple things were one, hip hop is extremely regional. Like anything I listened to in the South, I didn't hear when I moved to the Midwest.
Mm.
And vice versa. What I heard in the Midwest, I never heard on the West Coast. The stuff that I hear out here, I had never heard in my life unless I had researched it earlier and just being a hip hop head. But like
Yeah.
I just like when I go back home, then the things that I naturally hear out here, they never played at home. So for me, I'm like, can I go into another space with what I do and still grab people's attention? And if I can, that's the real test. Cause like the media always is telling the artists out here to like take it on the road because that's when you know.
Mm.
Because you getting up on stage with like 20 and 30 of your people, that's a comfortable energy.
Yes. Come
And it's
on.
delusional.
Come
Like
on.
because and it's no offense to anybody that does that, but what that does is you think that everybody's gonna respond to that the same, but
But
you're
wait,
around people who love you.
Yeah, so they're kind of just doing it because they love you, but it's like I want to
That's
see if I
it.
really got it. I get what you're. Okay.
Yeah, because you go to another spot and they don't have any reason, no incentive to like you, and they standing there like entertain us. And if you
Mm,
get up there and they going like, dang, who is this? That's when you know you got it. And that's why for me, I have
mm,
the confidence that I've always had. Because when I first came to scene, people was looking at me crazy. Like they was like, they don't get it. And I was like, I know. I'm like, you will though. Because I'm gonna be here. Like, I'm not
mm.
going nowhere. I'm gonna outwork people. I'm gonna put out quality music all the time. And I'm gonna be a great value to the scene because I know it's not just about me. So
Yeah.
that's why you see me supporting and encouraging other artists and I give money to them. Hey, you got a brand, you got a this, you got a that, boom. I'm always quick to, hey, tell me when you got a show, I'll pull up on you. I'll pay for a
You
ticket. I don't need
do.
you to give me nothing. And that's just because I want to be a value to the scene. And when you do that alone,
Mm.
like you're sowing good seeds. I'm not gonna reap nothing but good things. And it's not even for that, but it's just that's how
That's
life
how life works.
works.
Yeah.
And life's worked that my whole life. So I can lean on that ideology.
And does it feel better being a light versus a fucking hater? I
Awesome,
feel like
man.
it takes way more energy to be like this dark energy.
This is the thing that I love the most, and I genuinely love this. When you show people how important and how much you appreciate them, you watch them light up. Like I watch
Mm,
people when I tell them, like, yo, I appreciate what you bring to the scene. I
that's
love what
good.
you're doing. They're like, because I know that they're not hearing that enough.
At all. They're kind of like, wait, what'd you just say? Oh yeah, this is love that I'm giving
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. With no condition. Like I don't need nothing from you.
At all.
I'm good in this life. I
I just want
promise
you to
you.
know this about
That's
yourself.
it for you. And you can feel, I know people who felt a way about me and it did not matter to me because it's not about
Yeah.
how you feel about me. It's about if I appreciate you, I'm going to tell you anyway. I don't have no ego and pride in this. So they be
That's
like, oh,
good.
James, why would you say that when they don't really rock with you? Stuff like that. It's not about whether they rock with me. I was asked the question about how I felt about them and I
Mm.
hold them in reverence.
That's so good. I feel like you are so good of not getting lost in that artist ego.
Yes, ma'am.
How would you what advice would you give to artists that are intimidated when there's more great talent, or I'm insecure so I can't compliment somebody else's skill. I can't be the light to somebody else's career because I'm too insecure within my own.
I think we're all tests for each other
Mm.
because if like when you believe in something, the only reason you stay convicted in what you believe in is when you put it to a test. It's not when you hide back in this ideology or this feeling. It's when you go out there. The reason why I know I'm great is because I stand in the room with other great people and I can
Mm.
recognize their greatness and it doesn't make me feel like I can't get in there is nobody I can't get on the track with. There's nobody. You can't name one.
Oh,
And I'm going to hold my own.
you go
So I
crazy.
so for me, like being around them and watching them do great, that don't make me feel no other way, but like I'm happy for them. You should, bro. You talented. Great people recognize other great people. How could I be great and not recognize that in somebody else?
Mm.
It doesn't make any sense.
James Wade, you're taking us to church. That's really good. And what I will say is like when I'm listening, you are one of the very few artists that I have to really focus or I will miss something clever you did. I will miss the setup that you just built. Like, so you said something earlier where it was like I wasn't always like that focused in my craft or something along that line. So were you
Absolutely.
not always this clever with like your pen and how you piece things together, even like a whole album? Was it kind of like, okay, I know I got it, but then you moved here or you moved out of your comfort zone and you were like, all right, now I got to really get crazy with my thought process.
I've always been known to be like lyrical. I started as like just actually doing spoken word.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
everybody
makes
was
sense.
like, you got to bounce to you. Like, you should try to rap. And I'm like, I ain't know what trying to rap. But like like I loved hip hop. Like I listen to music 24/7, like
Hmm.
everything. So I've just always been a music fan. So that appreciation as that grew, then I was like, man, let me just try it. And when I did it, I was trash. I was trash. But like people would listen to me because I was popular. And so I was like, man. So I kind of sat on that for a little bit and then I wanted to get better. That competitor in me and that ego at a younger age was like,
Yeah.
because the dudes who were nice, they hated me. They were like, bro, we are way colder than him and he gets way more attention. And that's when I realized early it wasn't even really about that. Like we do that for us and that is important. And how you put things together is important. But the media always says, as I hear you say it, it's like you got to be likable. You got to be a great experience for people. We're paid, not even so much monetarily money. We're paid on the type of experiences we are for other people. So if I can create a great experience for you, you'll always come back. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So, and I was just that type of person. And through maturation, like I'm like, okay, I want my pen to be better. There was one dude that was the nicest person
That's
in the
good. I didn't
city.
know maturation was a word.
Yeah,
See, I
yeah.
like learning. So I like talking to smart people. I'm like, I like that word. And now I know it's a word because James always said it. Going to my vocab. Good word, bud. Thank you.
Lights. Hell yeah. No, but there was a dude in the city, long story short, he was the nicest. Like when I come to move in that area, everybody told me about him. And I listened to him, I thought he was the coldest. And I remember before I went off to college, like me and him got in a cipher. And we were neck and neck. Like it was like I was getting as much reaction from him. And he was like, bro, we gotta do a tape together. And I'm like, bro, I remember when I moved here, like you were so far out of my reach, and I'm standing next on the stage with you, barn. So then it was like
Yeah.
I was heavy writing, heavy
Pen
writing, heavy
sharpen
writing.
pen.
Yeah.
Is that what they
So
say? Is that the
yeah,
saying?
absolutely.
That's crazy. So, do you enjoy that? Like when you see somebody's like, "Oh shit, he's making me sweat." Like, "Oh, I gotta really
Absolutely.
do my shit."
Absolutely. Actually, at the last show that I had, like the people that performed before me, they were going so crazy. Like it was four cats on stage, and they were a group, and like they had the crowd like completely into it. And I'm like, okay, it's just me. And I'm like, all right, so I gotta give the equivalent to their four energy. Like I gotta be
Mm.
even more than what they are just to make sure. And I like people taking me there because again, I'm a competitor. I'm not afraid.
It does feel good.
Yeah.
It's just like this energy. You're like, "Oh yeah, I like
Yeah.
this, bud." You set the bar. So speaking of
Yeah.
shows, if you've never gone to a James Wade show, you are missing out on a real professional set. So, what is your thought process when you're coming down to your show mix to the performance and the energy you bring on stage? Walk
Yeah.
us through that.
Yeah, so I'm always thinking about like who would be there and what they would like as far as like transitions because I want to hit you with something like you'll be familiar with. If I know there's going to be more ladies there, I kind of lean into my R&B vibe. If it's like I
Mm,
know it's going to be like more like spitters and stuff like that, I lean more into like my punch heavy stuff.
mm.
So I love that I have the versatility and like there's times where I'm the only hip hop artist or like on an alternative build where I got songs for that. So like I stay ready.
So, how do you feel when you see? I feel like artists today, like I don't
Mhm.
really see a lot of show rehearsal anymore. How do you feel about that?
You said show
I
tracks?
show rehearsals,
I
show mix
rehearse.
is just kind of like, let me plug this in. I airdrop you the track. I'm gonna just go with the lyrics of the song.
Yeah, I think a lot of that honestly comes from like people not being guided because most of the time when musicians get in a space, they're usually the only one in their circle in that space. And so they really don't have anybody to really guide them. Like even for me, I really like I'm just a nerd and I research shit a lot.
It's so
You know
fun.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So like for me, I just be like, okay, what things can improve my stage presence, right?
yeah.
But if you don't naturally do that and you don't have people in your corner that'll just be like, yo, let me give you some tips or
Hmm.
like, hey, you should do this. Because I started doing that at shows. I didn't know these cats. Like I would pull them off and I'd be like, bro, I really like your stage performance. Hey, I wanted to shoot you an idea. Just tell me if you like this. Like boom, boom,
Oh,
boom.
that's
And I just
fire.
kind of hit them like that
Yeah.
with it. And so I've had people that came to me and was just genuinely like, hey, I know you do this. So like what did my stage presence look like? And even the
Mm.
last show, he was like, I was watching you and I realized everything I've been doing wrong.
That's heavy, and you are, dude. You are special up there. It is just you can tell you've been doing this for years. There is a comfort zone that you get in. There's just like I don't know if you get nervous still before you hit the stage, but you can't see that shit at all. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is what the fuck he does for sure. So, like, what are some things when you're watching an artist perform? What determines, okay, that was a great set?
Oh, a lot of things. And I can also tell you what'll make a star. Like I can tell you who the
Come
stars
on.
are. I can tell like it's working for a label, doing marketing myself, like it's clear. It's very, very clear. But like as far as like the show, cause and I'll make sure because we were gonna do the ugly show together back in the day before COVID shut it down. So I went around and I scouted for a year and a half to pick that lineup. So I went to shows and I was paying very close attention. One, I always pay attention to I do pay attention to your tribe, how many people you bring and how many people support you, because that
Mm,
alone is still a huge indicator of momentum.
Yeah.
Because if you got people who love you and believe you and they're gonna be there, then that does already speak volumes. Because for everybody else watching, it's all optics.
Yeah.
It's like, man, look at these people going crazy for him. Even if he's not the greatest, the fact that he has this support, he or she, whoever, whatever, it's like, that's admirable. So that's one. The second thing is I always watch the people who aren't associated with that person. So how are they actually viewing the show? So again, people in different crowds, I know it's very different depending on the state, depending on the city. Like some people are just genuinely like this and they're taking everything in. Some people show immediately that they're disinterested. And there's some people who show like they're like in their mind, they're like, I don't know this person, but this is fire.
Yeah.
So I'm always watching everybody else. And then I watch how much the performer moves around, how much energy they bring, how much energy they bring if the room changes. So like when people start walking away, does their
Can
energy
you hold
drop?
it together?
Yeah.
I'll be fucked up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I never, and see, even for me, one thing I learned very early on is I don't even know what's going on in the crowd. I don't even
Okay,
pay
because I
attention.
was gonna ask you, my next question was, how do you go from performing in front of like thousands of people
Mhm.
and then you still are humble enough to come out to like our local events where it's not hundreds of people? How do you do
Because the
that?
love is the love and the challenge is the challenge. It doesn't matter how many
Mm.
people is there. Like, I love to do this. Like, I'm really about this shit. Like, there's people who do this shit because it's like a fad and almost like it's a stage for them. Like, okay, I can get a little attention off this. I kind of feel like I belong to something. But when the conditions don't fit the ideal that they have, you watch how quickly people get fickle and you realize like this ain't in you. Because in anything that you want to do in life, the only way you gonna get through it and be successful is if you stay in the mud and in the trenches in it. That's it. That's only one way. Because the moment you give up, then you automatically lose. If you never give up and you just keep going, when you die, you known as that motherfucker. That's
Keep
what you known
talking
for.
real quick. Because James Wade is taking us to church. I said we in church.
You feel me? So that's yeah, you can't. And so I don't never, because again, it's for me, it's the challenge. It's the West Coast. I sound different than anything y'all would hear out here. And then it's like, can I get you to engage and enjoy what I do?
Mm.
And can I put on a great show? Especially as I age. It get harder for anybody. You feel
So
me?
speaking of joy, what is a joy? And with your albums, you always have such a clever name. It's very well thought out. It's very like you set on this and this means something to you.
Absolutely.
Why is your album title so important? Let's break down the album titles. Like, how do you?
Man, I think everything you do in this thing, it has to mean something. I think you got to give, again, I think it's back to giving people experiences. Like, I'm literally letting you in. These are literally the journeys that I'm having in my life. When I'm telling you it's go where the love is, it's because that's where I am.
You
That's
was just
what
in my
I'm searching
mind because
for.
I was going to say, so where is the love? Because I'm looking for a man, and I'm like, so where do I need to go as a woman? And I feel like a lot of your music is very like uplifting to women too. It's just kind of like, hey,
Absolutely.
listen to me, let me help you out. Like you give a
Absolutely.
lot of hidden gems to women, and it's like this is a male kind of giving us a cheat code,
Yes,
low
absolutely.
key.
Absolutely.
Why is that important to you?
I think it's important because we were married at an 85% clip, like in the 50s. And like now we're down to 34. And
Shit.
we didn't the fundamental things that make us men and women, those things didn't change. What changed is we were programmed to look at each other a certain way. I always tell people this, like, the enemy can't take a blessing from you, but what it can do is trick you into letting go of the blessing yourself.
Ooh.
So you just push the blessing away, and that's what we're doing to each other. And I hate to say that because at the rate that we're going, like, our women are going to be the most unmarried, and then our men are going to be the most unmarried culturally. And it's like, just because we're looking at each other through the wrong lens.
Okay, damn, you just answered that. I was gonna say, why are we so fucked up right now? Like, I feel like even myself, like with this new, just getting deeper into my Bible and my spiritual journey, I'm like, this is not a woman.
Yeah.
What do you feel like we're lacking as women and men in today's generation?
Understanding. We don't look at each other as people. We're looking at each other as objects that we can use for our own personal, Like we already have this idea in our mind what we want, and then it's like you gotta make sense in that. And we even do it with our friendships, like how we pick friends. Like we're unsufferable because we basically say we're gonna sit back and you're in my world and you gotta meet my conditions. And
Mm.
it's like there's another human being on the other side of that, and you never took that into account. You know what I mean? And so for me, when I've always gotten relationships, I've only gotten relationships because I've decided that I was ready to give, not what it was I was going to get. It was like I'm ready to give a woman all these things that I've been able to build up with myself so that I can share that with someone else. And
Mm.
and none of us go into relationships like that. We go into it for what we want. I actually train and teach people from a leadership standpoint in certain arenas. And I always tell people, we never learn how to talk to people without an incentive. Like
Mm.
you only talk to people if you're getting something out of it. And it's always with a condition. I said, have you ever just went up and just started a conversation with somebody for no reason? Not because you
You
needed
I don't want
gratification,
anything in return.
nothing.
Yeah.
And not even to make myself feel good. It's like, no, I'm genuinely coming up to you because I just want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
We never do that. And so we haven't learned how to be relational. We're terrible relationally.
Yeah, and I feel like we're kind of fucked right now. Like I'm always like I have hope, but we are in such a like, okay, you got to give me something. Like I
Yeah.
think it's crazy that now it's like, oh, in order to love me, you ought to be able to pay my bills. Like that's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
that's some crazy shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That
That's
is
the craziest shit
crazy.
I've ever heard.
How do we get here? Like it's just, but okay, back on top. Let's not get too deep. But like, so in the middle of nowhere, that was
Yeah.
probably one of my most. I was just so interested in that title
Mhm.
meaning. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so actually, you know what, I love that I'm here with you because that was you. So I and actually because you helped me make that decision.
Oh my! Oh yeah, I do remember. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what are you? I do remember that.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a setup for me in that time. I really forgot.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow,
absolutely. So I
that
gave you
I do remember
like four
that.
titles and then you picked that one and
Holy shit!
I was like, yeah, she is right. I like that cuz I didn't know which one to lean towards and I was actually leaning towards something different, but when I did that one, it kept the journey going. And then as I was recording it, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make a Love and Light series." So
Mm.
now this whole era we're going to be in is I'm gonna jump back from light to love in every album, and it's still gonna continue on that journey. So I got a pretty good like 6 to 7 year plan here.
Fire. Do you ever
Yeah.
miss like hopping back into the like gritty bag because you have that style too? So is it ever like, all right, let me just drop this real quick, show them like, oh, I could get real nasty and filthy
Yeah,
with
you
this
know,
shit.
I noticed that because I get some energy in the scene that be making me think. I'm like, oh, y'all think I just do that?
Because they don't do their research. I'm like, well, no, he rap for real, y'all. I don't
Yeah, I'm
know.
like, yo, you better stop playing with me because I will get. Yeah, man, I'm for me, I just let my soul lead me. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like so for me, like even for my next album, um, Let There Be Light is actually as far as writing it, it's completed. I got like 25 written, and then I got like 150 beats that I'm picking for the next album after that.
Holy, you went
Yeah.
through 150 beats.
Oh, I go through thousands. Like
How?
every day I spend an hour just going through
Just
beats,
how
just
do
going
you
through
know
the.
when it's that beat? Are you like,
It
is it
hits
a
me.
feeling?
Yeah, it hits me immediately,
And
and I'm
the
like,
lyrics automatically like come to you?
I do this thing. It kind of happens that way, but what I'll do is like I'll play the beats and then I have like notepads and I start like these random words just start coming to my mind, and so I write them down on the paper,
Hmm.
and then I just like stare at the paper,
You
and
guys
then
are
it
all so
builds.
interesting. I think artists are so interesting. I just get so intrigued. I'm like, you guys all do like your little interesting,
Hmm.
weird things. That's so cool because well, people have the same process. James, you didn't crack that beer open
Oh
yet.
yeah, I got you. So
It's probably warm a little bit.
no, no,
James
no, it's
doesn't drink,
not.
but he
It's
said
not.
he would. Listen,
So
Trader Joe's. This is not the best lager. So
no,
next time
so
you come back,
when you put a post one day, and again it was a day where I was writing down like words, and you were talking about Taylor Swift. So I went on Billboard and
oh,
like
I
I
do
was
love
looking,
Taylor Swift.
and she had that Snow on the Beach and a Lavender Haze. She
Hmm.
had those two songs on Billboard. And so I wrote those words down, and they became those lyrics in Traffic. At the end
Are
of
you
Traffic, I
kidding
actually,
me?
yeah. So that's where that came from.
So you are very strategic with everything you do. That's why it's like when you're listening to James Wade for me, I'm like, you gotta be still. Cause it's something that is going on that's deeper. Like I had Sean Bennett here and I was like, James Wade was one of my favorite features because you literally took everything that he did and you put it in a verse.
Hmm.
The research, the time that it goes into that, it just shows where does your love for music come from? Because you got to love music to really
Yeah, I do.
build something like that.
I feel like that was what saved me. I genuinely felt like music was a savior for me because I didn't come from a family where my voice was appreciated.
Mm, okay.
I it felt like anytime I wanted to express myself, it wasn't great.
Bef-
So
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
no, so I listened to artists like Bone really resonated with me early.
You do love them.
I
That
love
is your
them.
favorite group.
I love
One
them.
of your favorite groups.
And Pac is my number one, like my number one as far as like an artist.
Mm,
And just that vulnerable, I'm telling my story energy,
yeah.
like that really resonated with me. And so the love of music, man, I would just hear stuff and like see the world differently.
Hmm.
That's powerful, man.
Music is that powerful though. Like
Mhm.
that's what I just respect what y'all do because it's there's literally it's that shit is spiritual.
Yes,
You're
it
like,
is.
did this just happen? right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree with that. Absolutely.
And that's what I love about your music is you could see that okay, this is somebody that really loves music and they know how powerful the messages and the frequency is of music because that's why you choose to create the type of music that you create. It's just
I mean,
dude, James, you're amazing.
because I
dude.
mean, like, there's gonna be people who don't like physically meet me, and
Mm.
that's all they're gonna know of me. And I remember when going overseas, it made the most sense because I was like, there were people telling me that I was the first um, black black male American black male that they had ever met. And
Oh,
like they're
wow.
listening to my songs and I'm like, well, I'm a reflection of something greater than myself.
Yeah.
So there's somebody hearing something that I say and somebody that looks like me is going to either benefit from that or they're going to be impaired by that. So it's like I'm not going to put my brothers in a position where I'm somebody you look at as something you don't want to be.
So with all of this wild kill drill smoking on the op music, what would you say to
Um, I pray for that because that comes from a place of hurt. Like
yeah.
you can't be in a great place if that's where your energy is and that's what you consume and that's your environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really pray because me with my sociology background, I also look at things not as so much as like it's an indictment on people, but like what got people to that point.
Yeah.
And so like these people are coming from environments where they don't feel loved, but they want attention. And so they look out in the world and they go, well, how do I get attention? Well, a lot of these kids that's doing the drill, they grew up doing World Star.
Mm.
So what they saw was my community is in the most uproar when this goes on.
Yeah, this is what they like.
Yeah,
This is what they
so
react to.
people just are naturally, people will always move towards what they're incentivized to do.
Mm.
People will always do that. If there's an incentive to do it and that's what they want, they're going to do whatever that is. They may not even agree with that at first, but once they get what they're looking from that, they'll keep doing it.
They feel that. I love that. So let me ask you this. Before the lights cut on for James Wade, who were you?
A demon.
A demon? Like like how?
I was bad, man. I guess I could say it like this. I was always extremely intelligent. I didn't always use that in ways that benefited others.
Mm.
I used that. I weaponized my intelligence when I could have. I could have changed the world already. I could have done that already. And somewhere along the line, I got lost. And though I still always had a faith and a belief, and I was always kind of. It was just I was just so lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of moving through life. I was getting everything handed to me. I was pretty privileged. Not from a background standpoint, because my people poor, but from like I got out in the world and it was immediate. Like they was like, yep, he intelligent. He's charismatic. He's well versed. He can go into any room. We can put him anywhere. Like, and I got a lot of rewards from that, and I just kind of moved off that. And I didn't know what my purpose was. And then when I found my purpose,
was there like a
everything changed.
day where you heard God? Like, when did that switch happen where it's like, okay, I got to stop doing this and I'm on my spiritual path and this is what I need to do?
So it's crazy, man, because there's the spectrum of where I've been spiritually has been crazy. I've never not had a belief, but I wasn't always as dedicated. And I can honestly say I remember being here in Vegas probably around like 2017 or 18. And I was in one of those valleys. And I remember going like, all right, I keep trying to do this my way. You
got to surrender, don't you?
You made your point.
I'm not in control.
Yep. I said, all right, from now on, I'm just
so
going to do
real.
what you want me to do. And after that, that's what I did. I just stay out my own way now. Whatever you want me to do, I'll just listen intently. That's why when I tell you, like, gotta be like, call her, text her.
It'd be
see how
real.
she
I'd be
doing.
like looking. I'd be like, Jay, where the fuck you come from? I really, because I'm very paranoid. I'd be like, God, what is going on right now? Like, when something just makes too much sense, I'd be like, who is this person? Like, sometimes you'd be like an alien to me. I'm not gonna hold you. I'd be like, James, now I know what the fuck you got going on, what kind of lights you got on under there. But I'm looking at you like, how the fuck did you know to say that, buddy? We got some problems, okay, James? Now that we got deep, we about to have a little bit of fun. We gonna turn on the lights a little bit.
Let's go.
Oh, I gotta. Uh-oh. So how this is gonna work?
Okay.
I'm gonna flip this little cube or whatever I have here. going on, right? Could be some wild shit on here.
Yeah.
You can answer it. If you don't want to answer it, just drink.
Okay.
Just drink both ways, because that's a full beer you got over there still. You ready? Here we go. Oh, this is so good. So we're playing a game of Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
Your ex, your mom's best friend, and a teacher from high school. Which one are you fucking? Which one are you marrying? Which one are you killing? I think that's so good, right?
That is a good one. I'm fucking the teacher. Yeah, I'm definitely fucking a teacher for sure. I had some baddies, man. I love an intelligent woman, boy.
Man, and teachers be looking good.
They do,
Right.
man. And you be talking that shit. I love that now. I would have to kill my mom's best friend.
Because it's your mom's best friend, right?
Yeah, she used to talk some shit back in the day too.
So you gonna marry your ex?
I guess. I mean, out of the
that's-
options.
That's good.
Yeah,
So you
solid
guys are
options.
still good. Because most people are like, I'm gonna kill my ex. That's good.
My feelings are I'm always cordial. Like, I don't have no ill. There's no way I built something with you and then I'm gonna let that. Because then if another woman gets with me, she gonna look at my past and look how my relationships look. And if she see all them burnt bridges, I look crazy.
They be like, and they be talking about, she crazy. Well, what did you do to make her that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good answer. I like how you did that. Here we go. It's not really a flip, but it's just kind of like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Share one of your most embarrassing moments in life.
Yeah, actually, I could share this one because this is pretty embarrassing. So, I was in Toledo, opening up for, I don't know if Kid Cudi was there also, but it was Chip the Ripper. I think Kid Cudi did show
Dude,
up as
you're
well.
just so a big deal.
Man, I took my homeboys who I was living with at the time, and I brought them to the show. It was one of the first ones that they could come to because it was closer. So they only had traveled like 2 hours or something. And as soon as we got there, we start taking shots and doing stupid shit. And I went on
I'm
stage
scared.
and blacked out. Like, I'm pants falling, slurring and shit, repeating verses and shit. I was a hot mess.
No way.
Yeah, I look like straight trash. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh,
Like, that was
is
fucking
that on
embarrassing.
camera somewhere? That
It
is crazy.
It is. Oh, man.
Your
And
pants fell down on stage?
Yeah. it did.
Oh,
Oh, hell yeah. It was bad.
So you probably never drank really
I
before
don't.
show.
I don't. No more. Just after that shit. Nope. Never doing that again.
Wait, what?
It don't take. You only get me once. I'm a human. You can get me once. You ain't gonna get me twice.
No, I feel you. I passed out
feel
on
me?
the show before. I was like, you know what? No more weed for me out in public. I'll smoke at home.
Absolutely.
Passed out, drooling everywhere. It happens. Fuck, you're right. I had that moment. Now that you brought that up, the worst feature you've ever gotten, or you could just name the song, so it's not too crazy. Or maybe if there's not, or you could drink. You could totally drink. Because it's about the lights, so you can totally drink.
I've never felt like I've had a feature that I didn't enjoy. I completely honestly say that because I pick them very strategically. But I did have a situation where I was performing. The first time I ever performed, I had a young lady who I rehearsed with the entire time. The day of the show, she can't make it. She got on punishment. I had to bring another homegirl who was my friend last minute. I'm up there killing it. First performance, do it. They're like, oh, he cold. And then she starts singing and cracked. She cracked as soon as she hit that first note.
Man.
And everybody in the crowd started laughing.
Oh, poor baby
And they
girl.
laughed through the whole song. Yeah, that shit was, it was
You
straight
can't bounce back from that crack.
up.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
But
man.
speaking of crazy, the craziest thing a woman has ever done to you, go.
I've had a girl key my car and stab clothing.
She
I've
stabbed your clothes?
Yeah. Oh, actually, this is worse. So I had a girl that I knew, like we had casually talked or whatever like that. I went out one night. She was like blowing up my phone. Didn't think none of it. Went somewhere else. Kicked it somewhere else. And she caught me in the lunchroom or something like that. She was like, James, where were you? Like that. So I'm like, I'm making up some shit. I'm like, yeah, I was there. And she was like, she looks dead at me. She was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, why? What are you talking about? She's like, I was sleeping in your bed.
Oh, fuck.
So she broke into my house and she slept in my bed. And my roommate, we used to talk about this shit to this day. I'm like, bro, you didn't recognize that was a woman. He was like, bro, it was dark and she just crawled in the bed. And later I figured it was you.
Oh, no.
He
No, you
knew.
didn't. I was there. So that doesn't make sense. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
That's impressive. She broke in your shit.
She broke in my shit, bro.
And then you caught you in a lie. That's
Mhm.
funny because I was actually in your bed.
Yeah.
You got to commend her. Damn, that was
Some
impressive.
crazy shit, man.
Well, James Wade, thank you for an amazing interview. Thank you for coming here on my platform. I feel like
Of
you've
course.
dropped so many gems. This is just gonna be so great. I'm just so honored. Before we get out of here, let the people know where to find you. Like, what do you have coming
Hey,
up? Like, what's
come
going on?
You already know. Hey, 2025 is mine. I'm just letting everybody know that now it's mine. It's the light era. So that's where we at with it. Everybody know these lights on. So you can catch me on all platforms under I Am James Wade. So social media, I Am James Wade. You put that in, you'll find me. I am on all streaming platforms as James Wade. My album of the year, In the Middle of Nowhere, is still out.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate
I like
that
how you
love.
introduced. It's the album of the year.
Yeah,
He
because
won that.
look, man, when you get an accolade like that, like
You
can't
gotta
nobody
talk
take
about
that
it.
from you.
I know.
I didn't ask for that. They told me, hey, you nominated. I said, cool. And but I got the follow-up coming called Let There Be Light. So I'm already doing the rollout for that. And so expect actually 2 albums from me in 2025. Yeah, we
Uh-oh.
dropping at the top and the bottom of the year. So yeah, I ain't playing. And then I got a lot of features coming. Got a lot of collab projects coming. I'm gonna really, really, really be out here. So I'm gonna be
Yeah.
out here, back down south. I'm going back Midwest. I'm
You still
touching
go home a lot?
everywhere. Yeah.
Okay,
But I'm doing
fine.
it. I'm doing it even more because I had to take some personal time away for some of my people, take care of them. Now my people good.
It's time
Now
to
I'm
go
back
crazy.
on y'all head. Yeah, it's time to go.
Y'all heard it.
Yeah.
2025.
Lights
I
on
am
forever.
James Wade. I like how you got the I am. I feel like it's such a like an affirmation thing. Like,
Come on now.
this is who the fuck
Intentionally.
I am.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
I get it. Well, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed it. And then James Wade music about to pop up and shit, so y'all might as well go stream it because why would you not? Like, it's really good. He's really talented. Again, thank you, James Wade, for coming. Can we do the lights?
Lights.